a live Linux boot disk. So you can have a better understanding of it, and I'll put some more resources below, and I'm going to explain to you why you want to do this as well. So we got 4 easy steps here. Download the ISO, burn the ISO to a disk, and then boot your computer from it, and then enjoy your operating system. So what is an ISO? An ISO is a file that you download, and it's basically the contents of the DVD that you're going to burn, or the CD that you're going to burn, depending on how big it is. You're probably going to need a DVD. You don't want a disc that's rewritable. You want one that's finalized, that's not rewritable, because you don't want a hacker or whatever to be able to write anything to it and change anything. The purpose of this disc is every time you boot your computer with it, it's factory default. Nothing can be changed, right? So you can't get hacked this way. In order to completely protect you, if you don't want the enemy posting or uploading anything to your device, and because you have a hard drive in your computer, I also recommend, this is to people who are like fighting crime and government and stuff, to also remove your hard drive as well. So if you're going to be on that red team go stuff, you need to remove that hard drive and boot your laptop from a live Linux disk. And this is when you're surfing the web or doing whatever. And again, this is I'm not telling this to criminals so they can not get caught. I'm telling this to people trying to catch criminals so that they can not have, psychopaths plant stuff on your computer and listen to you and spy on you. You don't want the enemy spying on you in war. Okay, so we've been over the basics. An ISO is a file. It's sort of like a zip file, kind of, but not really. It's for a CD or DVD that's going to be burned. So you download that, you burn it, and then you boot the computer with it. To burn it, you're going to need a piece of software. I recommend for Windows, poweriso. Here, we'll go ahead and do that. I'll put the link in the description as well. poweriso. And you can download this. Here's the website right there, poweriso.com. You can download this software on your Windows computer. Go to Kali.org. By the way, you can get old versions of Kali Linux, which I recommend. And there's also all different kinds of Linux. There's Tarpup Linux. There's Ubuntu. Kali is the one that the hackers use. Just look at all the different Linux distributions. And so you go to Kali.org, you download it, and then you open the file that you downloaded, that ISO, in poweriso, and then this will burn it to a disk, and then you put that disk in your computer, and when you turn the computer on, it'll boot from that disk. And if you removed your hard drive and you're booting from that disk and it's non-rewritable disk, then every time you boot your computer, things will be factory default. And as long as you're not connected to a Wi-Fi, then you're pretty much in the clear. Now, it's not 100% foolproof, but it's like 98% more secure than Windows. The chances of somebody getting in there are much slimmer, and if they do, when you turn the computer off and you reboot it, they can't install anything because you've removed the hard drive and you're running from a live disk that can't be changed. It's factory default every time. So that's the point of that. It doesn't mean that your Windows computer is no longer any good. I highly recommend to you that you keep your Windows computers offline. And just because your web browser is closed does not mean your computer is offline. You've got to unplug the router, unplug the network from the back of the computer, flip the Wi-Fi switch on the device, make absolute sure that it's turned off, because by default your computers are connected to the internet. And your phone is always connected to the internet, so you're screwed on that one. When you're not using your computer, you turn it off. Keep your Windows computers offline. Make sure they're not auto-connected on Wi-Fi. Don't save your Wi-Fi passwords. Download my free secure password generator at greyhatlaboratories.com. It's also on download.com. Let's see what else. And then you can surf the internet. Oh, and install, get you a good VPN and a firewall. And finally, once you install that Linux, you're going to want to use Tor socks, proxy chains, and Mac changer. And what those will do is they'll allow you to surf the web while masking your IP address. So Tor socks and proxy chains are tools that you can use to use Firefox right here. And I'm not talking about the deep web. I'm talking about surfing the regular internet, Google.com and all that. And you can hide your IP from the websites that you're browsing. So I'll put some links below to some other YouTubers that show you how to do that and all those great things. And I'll get you guys equipped with this knowledge. Hopefully you know this by now. But if not, you got to know that it doesn't matter how much security software you have. If you got a Windows computer and it's always turned on, there are people watching you. That's the way it is. That's the welcome to the real world. A lot of teenagers are into cybercrime. A lot of young people are into it. Some people just do it just for fun, just for doing it. And I can assure you there are posses of young people in your devices listening to you and watching you through your camera. And if they're doing that, cyber criminals are as well. And we have domestic terrorist threats these days, neo-Nazi groups and white supremacist organizations, which I have evidence and eyewitness testimony at 850.news. Hopefully that URL is still around by the time you see this video, that they're also doing it as well. So if you're in the military or a vigilante or whatever, feel free to make use of this technology. It'd be great use of anybody who's a patriot, who's a well-intended person that could really help protect our democracy and democratic republic, rather. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope this really helps. And feel free to check out the links in the description and my website, greyhatlaboratories.com, as well as at 850.news. Follow me on Gab at gab.com/lightnings. That's gab.com/lightnings, like lightning from the sky with an S, plural, lightnings. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you.